everybody. Hi. So today, let's see, I'm getting this window so I can chat. So I'm trying to see it a little bigger. It's a kind of a little bit of a challenge, like all the live streaming little gadgets I have here and I haven't tried yet. But anyway, I was working on getting the first feather set done. And today I wanted to show this is not a swan feather. This is an owl feather, and I wanted to show some principles about feathers because, a lot of people want to do feathers and they just think of lines that make up the feathers without seeing the structure of a feather. And I think this is important today to see this. So we have, and Mark, good morning. And Mark knows this lesson pretty well. So there's this shaft that goes down the feather, and then there are, lines that come from the feather. But the thing that's important to remember is these lines have to be, they can't cross over unless you're doing a shape. See how it's kind of hard to get that to happen right here. There's a shape, then it's crossing under. But generally, these lines have to be parallel. There you go. Parallel to be a real feather. And so you've got 25,000 feathers on the swan, and they're all kind of crossing over each other. But the thing that's going to make it feel, let's switch to the other view now, authentic, is when you, good morning, Cindy. Hi. So the thing that's going to make it feel more authentic, and get my light over that better. I hope you can see that detail. Let me point that camera even better. There we go. Is that you have your lines correct. And so most of these primary feathers, I guess they're back here, these are coverts, are overlapping right now because the wing is somewhat closed up. So you won't necessarily see this central shaft. You're just going to see the parts coming from the feather. Yeah, I know it's an owl feather. It's a great horned owl feather. We have great horned owls sit on our roof at night, and I put a bird feeder station out there, and I say it's an owl feeder because I think pack rats come at night. And now what I'm doing right now, anyway, that's where I got that feather. I'm taking a riffler tool that I have. It's very pointed, and I'm taking the back, not the front sharp point, but the back of it. And I'm just creating at the angle, almost all the feathers of birds have this angle. And I'm right now doing parallel lines at an angle that I'm looking at the feather. I cannot see that detail in my picture, but because I know what feathers look like generally, I'm creating little hatch lines that move in that direction. And if you saw the previous video, anyone new here, you'll see how I mapped out these feathers by using a simple tracing method on my source material, and then just pressing the pencil. I use this view to make this side, and I use this view to make the other side because the pencil needs to be flipped to make the mark. So once I did these little hatch lines, let's put that over there. I then get I like Terpenoid Natural as a solvent. Whoops, yeah. And I clean my brush let me show you how I do it. I get all that extra clay off by pressing the brush down. And then I take the brush and I clean it real well. So there's not a lot of stuff on there. And then just go over those hatch lines, smooth that out. And that gives you a look that is hard to achieve with just any tool. So you just go over it very gently. And as soon as your brush gets a little bit heavy with clay, you want to clean that off. And it's not going to wreck your clay if you don't use too much. I mean, if you use too much, you could oversaturate your clay. It'll absorb it, and it's a cleaner of sorts, and it's a brush cleaner, and it will take away the medium that's binding your clay if you use too much. But if you just do what I've shown you here and you rinse it off, I tap it down, to get the you can see the clay coming off, and it sinks to the bottom. So you do that, and then you really just clean off that brush. And you can go back and do some more. And so basically, now don't worry if you see your pencil lines still stuck in there. I mean, my use of modeling clay, the purpose is to cast it in rubber, make a rubber mold. It used to be plaster molds in the old days. Now you'll notice another tool I'm using. I saw an area I need to straighten out here. So I'm just going to use a ball tool to create that different leveling. I don't know if you can see from here what I'm doing. So Mark is asking a question. Let's see. I've got to bring it up here. You did send pictures. I didn't see it. You know what? I've been looking for it too. Let me type in exactly the email because I'm worried that you might have gotten it wrong. So let's do that. Learn Sculpture. I'm wondering if it's in the spam or something. At gmail.com. That's what everyone needs. Let me switch views for a minute. I've been looking for your email. Did I write that right? LEARN sculpture at gmail.com. Is that what you said? Can you please check that, Mark? Because I didn't see it and I've been looking for it. So for sure, I'll be posting it and linking back to your channel as soon as I get that. I'm very anxious to see it too. So try again. I can't check during this live stream, but I will as soon as I get off. And anyone can correspond with me at that learnsculpture@gmail.com. My actual YouTube account is under a different email, and so it kind of protects it from any problems, so I can easily post learnsculpture@gmail.com as a way for y'all to communicate. So sorry about that, Mark, and I we'll fix it for sure. We'll figure it out. And meanwhile, let's go back to the close-up, and I will continue on here. And so I'm just going to, okay, I have a lot of these short overlapping feathers, and I don't know if you can see. Let me bring it up off here. Let you try to see what I've been doing here. There we go. You can start to see what I'm doing. It's pretty rough still, but this is how you just get started. You know, you don't want to be shy about feathers. I might use this as a cleanup tool as well, but I like this, if I can show it against my finger. See how it has a curve and then a sharp point right there. So let's do this. A little more here. And don't do exactly even, just like you're seeing here. Do you see? Let's get a good view on this. You know, it's not exactly even. The cuts that you might see have variation, and you want that. You want to give that natural look to the cuts that you're going to make. But the bottom line is keep them relatively parallel. Keep them spaced differently, but keep them parallel relatively, because what I did point out was, you know, you have sometimes they sort of go under they go under each other a little bit, like they might do that. Generally, though, not. I would stay away from that unless you're really deliberate about your design use of that technique in your design. So I'm just going through. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is the feathers themselves. This might be a little too curved. The feathers themselves aren't so much curving as the bones and the position. Let me show you what I mean. Of the of whatever the wing angle is, they curve back a little bit, but not too much. It's just like this feather. Okay, you'll see a bit of a. Let's try to get it where you can see. It curves. They curve a little bit, but basically it's how the wing is folding, the bones of the wing. the muscles of the wing are making that illusion of curve, of the extreme curve that you're seeing there. So again, I mean, this might even be just too curved. I might have to, just straighten that, but bring it in, but not have the feathers themselves so curved. Or, this is a small, this is really a clay sketch. And I might not even worry about it on this one. What the value is doing something small like this is you get to see what kinds of problems you might encounter if you do a big piece. If you do a big piece, you're really going to have more scrutiny on your detail by far. Even though this thing, it's very small, it's very detailed, it's nowhere near as challenging as if you tried to do a life-size swan. Okay, we're getting a nice question. A couple of great horned owls. Haven't found the feather yet. Oh no. If I could send you this feather, I would. No, actually, this is the only feather I have found. I've lived here 7 years, and they sit on my rooftop at night and hoot. And in the morning, you might find a little present. In the morning, I just talk for a minute. You might find this little owl pellet on the ground. But I have a bird feeder out there, and at night, there's this clear shot. The owl can just go right down onto the ground. So the bird seed that spills on the ground attracts the pack rats, I'm sure. And we never have pack rats in our house because they're outside waiting for the owls. Oh my gosh. But anyway, let's go back to this. So what I'm going to do is I don't know what time, it's 8:12. Okay. So I'm going to go through and make my little feather cuts. And I'm looking at my picture doesn't tell me exactly where every little line is. Okay, it doesn't. But I can see here and there little tiny cuts like you're seeing on this real feather. And that just tells me as long as I go in the right direction and parallel lines and vary it up, not too much. All right, and then I'm going to take my brush and now just smooth that down. All those little crumbs go away when you do the brush, and it just feels like it turns into a real feather this way. It's a very nice technique to create that illusion, just that nice illusion. Let's see, a small sketch sculpture, kind of like, let me read real close. I'm going to really be happy for my new setup soon because I have trouble reading so in my new setup, I'll have 2 cameras, my purchased cameras, but my computer will be right where I can read your questions. So a thumbnail sketch before a larger painting. A lot of people would call this a maquette. And the thing is, that's the word of, nice French fancy word for saying a clay sculpture. But this is almost smaller than a maquette. Sometimes a maquette might be what looks like a finished sculpture at a small size. So I guess you could call, it wouldn't be incorrect to say maquette, but let me get close up so you can see what I've done. Generally, this will give you so much. It takes a level of discipline to do it at any size. So you might feel like, I'm getting discouraged, I'm not getting it. You will learn so much by doing this at the small size. You would be shocked. So if you can, put your headphones on and get your meditation music on, that's what I like to do. Or watch something on TV and just make yourself do it every day at the same time. That's kind of what I'm doing, right, guys? And, I have to be here. You guys make me be here, and it's just so helpful. There's my alarm. And you will be shocked at how much more confidence you will gain and how much you will learn. And so if I wanted to take this to a bigger size, I now know something I didn't know before. I know, the problems with the curving. I know the problems with the fact that the swan's white feathers are so tight to the body sometimes, and yet they have so much ability to spread them out. And, there's so much going on there that you don't see unless you start to, it's a study. That's another great word for it. You're doing a study. So, Anyway, I'll say goodbye this morning. Let me say goodbye properly like that. And see you on, what is it? It's Wednesday. See you on Friday morning. And hopefully I'll get this done and either start on the other side or have it done. I hope I can. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.